On this week's Flames Central, Liberty gets ready for the LendingTree Bowl, and Malik Willis has a message for Flames Nation.
Plus, an historic night for Liberty basketball, and we hit the slopes for the story of a Liberty alum and a unique ministry. It's all coming up on Flames Central.
Bowl week and basketball records. We have a lot to bring you on this edition of Flames Central. Thank you so much for tuning in. Alongside Rhett McGibbon, I'm Matt Warner.
Yeah, Matt, let's begin with some football. The Flames prepping for the LendingTree Bowl, where they will meet Eastern Michigan on Saturday.
Yeah, Rhett, you remember when Liberty made the move up to the FBS ranks, the big question was, how long will it take to be competitive? Well, as they prepare for their third straight bowl game, the answer, not long. With Hugh Freeze leading the program and Malik Willis under center, the Flames have their sights set on winning a third straight bowl game. It's a matchup of 7 and 5 teams, and while the Flames are a pretty substantial favorite in this game, having ended the year on a 3-game losing streak, Liberty is taking nothing for granted against the Eagles.
I'm really excited for our team to be able to play on national TV and represent our university and in our efforts to go 3-0 in our bowl games and in our time here. And really didn't like the way our season ended. Felt like it's my fault and I'm responsible, and I want to have a different feeling going into the off season. So we're really excited about this opportunity, playing a wonderfully well coached team in Eastern Michigan. They're a really good team, and you're gonna have to play really well to beat them. But that's what you want in a bowl game.
Well, sticking with football, when Malik Willis stepped onto Liberty's campus in 2019 as a transfer from Auburn, he was a relative unknown. Now, after 2 years as the Flames QB1, he's a projected first-round draft pick in the NFL. For the fans, it was a treat to watch a human highlight reel week after week. And for Malik, being on the mountain was a life-changing experience.
Flames Nation, it's hard to believe we're nearing the end of my time here. Feels like only yesterday I first came to campus.
First game as a Flame, first start since 2016.
I'm not here to talk about what the future holds, honestly, because I just don't even know what it holds for me. But I do want to take this time to thank each and every one of you for welcoming me into your lives with open arms. I couldn't have asked for a better fan base to represent every time I walk out there on that field. As a transfer, I honestly didn't know what to expect. It isn't easy leaving from one place and starting from scratch at another. But you took me in and you accepted me as one of your own. You think I've been here since the very beginning with all the love and support I received since I arrived. You just don't find that kind of love everywhere, and I'm forever grateful to every last one of you for it. I've grown as a player and as a person since coming to the mountain. I was already a spiritual person, but being here made that an even bigger part of my life. And for that reason alone, I'll always be grateful. I want you to know, no matter where life takes me, Liberty will always feel like home to me. I'm a Flame for life. Thanks for the memories, Liberty. Thanks for everything. Go Flames.
What a pleasure he has been to watch. Heading into the LendingTree Bowl, Malik has accumulated just under 4,900 passing yards, thrown 44 touchdowns while running in another 25, and has been the nation's premier rushing quarterback with 1,764 yards. He also led the Flames to a Cure Bowl victory over a ranked Coastal Carolina in 2020 and helped Liberty achieve their first ever top 25 ranking at the FBS level in that same season. He's going to go down as one of the all-time Flame greats. And Matt, I remember that first game he had against WKU, right? You were like, relative unknown. What's this guy going to bring? He rushes in 3 touchdowns on the ground. And it's hard to believe, a lot of people say 2 years as a Flame, but really in the course of like 18 months, he went from who is this guy to now a stud.
Yeah, and it's somebody that we may never see an athlete like this in a Flames uniform again. You're talking about a first-round NFL draft pick, potentially one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, and you've also seen the growth for him personally, and he talked about that, and as a leader inside this program, just a quality young man and somebody that's represented the Flames very well.
Yeah, a lot of fun to watch. Well, we talked about it earlier. It's bowl week, so we're going to stick with that theme as we take a look back on one of the top moments from the past 50 years of Liberty athletics.
Yeah, we don't have to look back too far. Just last season for a dramatic finish and bowl win for the Flames. December 26, 2020, the Cure Bowl. Liberty and Coastal Carolina locked in a tie at the end of regulation. The overtime period would become a battle of field goal kickers. First up, Alex Barbier would kick a 44-yarder to put Liberty up by 3. Then it was Coastal's turn to keep the game alive.
Snap, spot. It's blocked! The Flames have won! The Flames have won! And Liberty celebrates in Orlando. Hashtag beat Coastal!
With Elijah James's blocked kick, the Flames became only the second team in NCAA history to win a bowl game in each of its first 2 seasons of eligibility. That's a great memory. Well, not only are the Flames focused on a bowl game this past week, the coaching staff is also working to build the foundation for future success, as Wednesday was the early signing day across college football. And the Flames, they're bringing in some playmakers, especially making use of the transfer portal. How about Charlie Brewer, a quarterback that's played at Baylor and Utah? You've got running back Day Hunter coming to LU from Hawaii, and then wide receiver Caleb Snead, a Lynchburg kid who the Flames saw firsthand against Campbell a year ago. In addition to those guys, the Flames also try to add depth in the trenches with multiple players on the defensive line. All that to say, there's a lot more talent headed to the mountain for the 2022 season and beyond. Well, we turn to hoops now. After suffering a neutral site loss to Stephen F. Austin, the Flames returned home looking to get right against Carver College. The Cougars hadn't won a game in 2 years, so the odds were pretty good that Liberty was going to have a successful night. Not much drama in this ball game. Liberty started on a 20-2 run. That's pretty solid. The Flames would be led in scoring by Darius McGhee, who had a game-high 23 points. But more importantly in this game, he broke the program record for threes made in a career. McGhee passed Ryan Kimwright, and at night's end had 263s to his name. One of the all-time greats in a Flames uniform. He continues to rewrite the record book. In other news, Liberty would shoot 62% from the field in this game as they cruise to a 95-36 win. The victory moves Liberty's record to 6-4 on the season.
Well, a dominating win for the men and a dominating win for the ladies. The Big Blues would stand no chance against the Flames, dropping their 8th straight game to start the year. Liberty would continue to roll with many of the young guns getting a lot of minutes. Emma Hess would collect 11 points, including 3 triples, while Jordan Hodges would pour in 7 as well. Flames are on the road until December 30th when they take on Shepherd. Well, sticking with women's hoops, the Lady Flames are playing some of their best basketball in the last 5 years, having just knocked off in-state rival Virginia Tech. A large part of their success is the play of redshirt junior Maya Berkman. Known as Maya McMillan, her initial 2 years as a Flame, her name change highlights the challenging road that this young lady has traveled.
Into the paint, nice move by Berkman. She goes up strong with the left hand.
Maya Berkman has been a dominant force in the paint for LU this season and has led them to one of their best starts in recent memory. When you see her in her element, it's hard to fathom her childhood was so painful.
I was basically CPS, Child Protective Services, was in my life the entire time. And my mom would finesse her way to not having us taken away.
While Maya was still at a young age, her mother would remarry. But shortly after the wedding, her stepdad would begin an abusive pattern towards her mother.
When I was young, I just didn't understand. Sometimes I would blame my mom, what are you doing? Why are you making him change like this? This doesn't make sense. He was fine before.
The abuse would take its toll, leading her mom down a dark path.
No one deserves to be abused at all. Throughout her experience, she became abusive to alcohol, pills, painkillers. So it was just really hard to see her just go from being this independent woman who didn't need anyone to someone who depends on everyone, and even her own children had to take care of her at times.
Not only would Maya have to care for her mother, but also her younger sister, Aaliyah.
I basically raised her when she was young because my mom would go all over the place and do drugs and stuff, so sometimes I even had to stay home from school.
Her mother's actions finally had Aaliyah taken away.
Police storm in and just take her. It was really, really heartbreaking. And the fact that I just didn't know what was happening, because they wouldn't answer any questions and everything. So it was just it was a really hard experience just because that's how it happened. It was she literally 1 second was there and then she just left.
Maya would continue to navigate her way through trial after trial until one afternoon in high school, Child Protective Services had made up their mind.
I was coming back from practice, and then my phone was blowing up like, Maya, you can't go home, don't go home. And I was just so confused. I was like, okay, and I was trying to read the messages before more popped up. And then I realized that CPS was called, and they finally had enough to take us away.
Which led to a phone call with Maya's high school basketball coach, John Berkman, who faced a decision, along with his wife, they never expected.
The CPS office had called me and said, hey, we understand that the sisters want to stay together, but we don't have anybody in the area that would be willing to take both of them at the same time. I remember them asking, would you and your wife maybe consider that? And I remember being taken aback because I was driving in my truck, I think, when they called, but I remember thinking, well, that's not something we've ever discussed. So I told them I would have to discuss that with my wife. I remember thinking, who else would take them? And that was heavy on my heart. I know it was heavy on her heart. And I know that a lot of that had to do with the Lord preparing us.
The Lord would lead them to take in Aaliyah and Maya, which would be a huge change to the way Maya was used to living.
It was just a different experience because they have so many rules. They have like families should, they have curfew, and you plug your phone up at night in the kitchen.
Despite the fact she was in a stable environment, it still took quite some time for her to feel at home with the Berkmans.
And it was well into the next year before she fully felt like, okay, this is like a permanent thing, and they're not kicking me out, or they're not moving on.
We wanted Maya to be in the driver's seat with all those decisions. And I think for her, it was kind of like, I'm cautious, be cautious in the waters here.
Finally, she would feel at peace, especially with John on the basketball court.
There was a change that next year in basketball. It was no longer coach, it was dad.
He would just answer and respond, and I'd be like, Dad, who am I guarding? He'll just be like, 32. I was like, okay, thanks. I loved it.
Maya finally had what she longed for, a stable home environment with her little sister. This past summer, Maya made the decision to take on her new family's last name, legally becoming a Berkman, a gesture of the deep love she has for her family.
They saved my life. Yeah, I don't think I would be here right now. I love them forever for it.
Still to come, the Christmas cheer is near as Warm Hot and Fuego is back with another holiday theme.
Plus, women's soccer gets a little pre-Christmas surprise. That's still to come when Flame Central returns.
Our Father, we feel that we're standing on holy ground. This is your university. It is not ours. Day by day, step by step, you have provided men and women to teach, to lead, to direct, to administer this institution. And here we are.
May you always be, for the future of liberty, what we're all about. We're training young champions for Christ.
You brought to us literally thousands of people who may never have stood where we stand, but have prayed and have given.
We can train the doctors and the lawyers and scientists and the artists. But whatever they're going into, they need to be champions for Christ. How does one become a champion for Christ? You've got to involve yourself with children of God who are champions. And you sit under professors and Bible teachers and Christian leaders. You've got to work harder than others do. No 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Oh no. It's 7 days a week and it's 24 hours a day. Because many enter the race, but only one gets the prize. God has stamped his name on this place. This is God's mountain, Liberty Mountain. We are his people, this is his word, his book, and this is his miracle. We promise you that we'll do our part. We will not let down the barriers, we will not compromise the message, we'll stay on center with a message. Our structures may change, but never our goals. All the things we were, we are, and ever shall be. I believe that we can change the course of history if we will determine young people to become champions for him, not ordinary, but extraordinary.
Our Heavenly Father from his throne will say, that is my University. May God make it ever so.
A history degree is versatile enough to be used in almost any context. At Liberty, our program teaches you 3 universal skills that can help you in any career path. Research. We show you how to evaluate information in original sources for reliability and accuracy. Analysis. We help improve your ability to examine arguments and determine faulty logic. Communication. We teach you to convey large amounts of complex information through detailed writing and public speaking. From business and government jobs to film consulting and missions, with a history degree from Liberty University, many career paths can be open to you.
Welcome back to Flames Central. Over the years on this show, we've shared so many examples of how God has taken someone's passion and opened doors for them to turn it into a career or ministry. Ryan Leeds is the latest example of this. The Liberty alum and former ski and snowboard head coach was leaning towards working in a church when God called him to the slopes.
Snowboarding has just been always a part of my life, and so I feel very fortunate for that. It's something that's just followed me around, and I love it. And high school, I thought, okay, it's time to put all that away. It was fun while it lasted, but Liberty ended up putting in an artificial ski slope on campus. When I was coaching at Liberty, I loved Snowflex. Absolutely loved it. Loved the people at Snowflex. Some of my greatest friends are at Snowflex. But no, I did not view it as something that would be like a ministry opportunity for me. Liberty was actually the perfect place for me to be. Fell in love with studying scripture. Wanted to teach, didn't know necessarily what that looked like, whether that be in the pastorate or teaching at a collegiate level one day or what it would look like. As far as ministry, I thought it would be in a church. Went actually really far into an interview process with a church in Northern Virginia, and it was like the dream job, but something just didn't sit right. And so I had to, after the interview and being offered the job, we were on our way home, and I was telling my wife, this doesn't feel right, and I'm not really sure why. And then I continued to get involved with Snowboarders and Skiers for Christ at deeper levels during that time. And then eventually a job opened up for me, and they said, hey, we would like you to move to Colorado. And then all of a sudden it all made sense, like why snowboarding continued to come back into my life. SFC is Snowboarders and Skiers for Christ. It's a parachurch ministry. Our mission is to bridge the ski snowboard culture to Jesus by partnering with the local church. And our vision is to be a light on the hill. SFC has always been really intentional about trying to form relationships with people out on the hill. It's just the way that you go about kind of trying to form those relationships. But when we came here, one of the things that I was thinking about was like, how can we just start conversation? A free peanut butter and jelly sandwich is a way to start a conversation.
Yo guys, PBJ? Yeah?
People are like, well, why are you giving me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? People will stick around, and you get an opportunity to say, well, we're part of this ministry, Snowboarders and Skiers for Christ, and we love Jesus. We think Jesus met practical needs. We want to like serve people. And some people are like, cool, and they ride down, and other people are like, that's interesting. And so the conversation continues from there.
Kids who come to work here are here for the season. We meet them where they are and say, hey, we're here engaging you. We're not expecting you to come into the church, but we're coming to you where you are and blessing you with food. I mean, it's something that these kids, they need food. And so it starts that relationship process. And so it's interesting to watch something so simple as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that introduces people literally to the kingdom of God.
Oh, dude, thank you so much for everything you do. You guys freaking kill it.
For people who are hungry for something more, we say, hey, we're doing a Bible study just around my table on Monday night. You know, it's real relaxed. It's family dinner. It's home-cooked meal. So, but now they're in the Bible study, and now they're studying Jesus with us, and now they want to come to church, and they want to volunteer with us.
Wow.
You start to see shifts in their thinking. The light bulb starts to turn on. And again, sometimes we don't ever get to see the fruit of that, but like Josh has stories of 10 years down the line of people texting him and saying, hey man, I don't know if you remember me, you probably don't, but I need you to know how instrumental those like couple of weeks were in my faith. I'm now a Christian, and it's because of like how selfless you guys were in this culture that's completely selfish.
Jesus said to him, I'm the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
I'm really passionate about this industry. I love being able to be here. I can connect with them because we both share a passion for skiing and snowboarding in the outdoors, but I get to introduce them to Jesus, the one who actually can bring them hope. We really just want to see this industry that can be really dark turn to light.
It's a really cool ministry going on out there in Colorado, and a great job producing that story by our Tyler Beatty. All right, time now for Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Top player moment from the past week in Liberty Athletics. Rhett, is there a theme this week?
It is. Sometimes I'm selfish and I want to think about all the bright spots and like how great Liberty is. But then sometimes you got to think about the teams that Liberty's playing against. It's not always fun for them. I guess we don't really
have a soft heart, Rhett. That's
I
what
do.
it
Maybe
is.
I'm just a nice guy. So there's some elements to Christmas which aren't a ton of fun. So number one in my mind, you and I both sometimes travel a long distance for Christmas. Do you ever get those people that when you travel like 12 hours and they're like, hey, make sure you come see me, and they're 90 minutes away, and you're like, why can't you just come?
Not going to happen.
Yeah, okay. But that's what I was thinking about. For other teams that play against Liberty basketball, they're thinking, okay, maybe it's a down year. But then you have a freshman like DJ Moore who's not traveling at all. This guy is taking care of the basketball. Only 7 turnovers on the season, 1 against Carver College. And you watch him, he knows his role right now. He knows he's a freshman. He knows he's not the show. He distributes the basketball. He gets limited minutes. We understand that. But I think in those limited minutes, he does a great job of just doing what Coach McKay needs, and that is giving Darius McGhee a break from handling the ball. He's done a great job of that so far this season. And DJ Moore, I think, has a bright future as a Flame.
Yeah, and a good game against Carver College as well. All right, from warm, we go to hot. Who's hot this week?
It's Emma Hess, and she is like needles. You know, the Christmas needles when they fall down? Just, so aggravating. She's aggravating. Another freshman that can shoot.
Aggravating to the defense, not to us.
No, not to us. I'm thinking this is totally from the mindset. I love Emma Hess. Yes, I can't wait. I think she's going to go down as a top 10 scorer. That's my projection for her. That's a big projection. She can just drop the three. She had 11 points, 3 threes, 3 of 6 in this last game for the Flames, 9 rebounds as well. Freshman getting in there, battling for some boards. You love to see that. Just such a pure shooter, and I think as she develops through this freshman year, going into next season, she's just going to be knocking it down for LU.
She does. She has an easy stroke from 3. Yeah, I love watching her shoot. All right, finally, in Fuego. Speaking of an easy stroke from 3, who's in Fuego this week?
It's Darius McGhee, and this guy's like a chimney fire for most people. Like, oh my goodness, he just destroys you. There's one highlight here where he walks up, and he is so far back. I just how do you defend him? Like, that is the hardest part. Do I come that far out? Because then he can beat me off the dribble. He can just, here it is.
Look where he's shooting.
Like, goodness
you don't go out that far for anybody.
Yeah, I know. He's in another area code. Like, he is that far out there. 260 triples in his career, 20 points in the first half versus Carver. It has been so much fun to watch Darius.
He is going to be one of the best Flames ever to play. Oh, certainly. Already a Conference Player of the Year once. May well do it a second time this year with the way he's playing for Liberty. We'll see how that goes.
100%.
Right? Great job as always. All right, still to come, a surprise early Christmas present for Liberty women's soccer. You don't want to miss this. That's when Flames Central returns.
Your future career will ask you to analyze, assess, implement, react, make smart decisions in a split second. With the Liberty University degree, you'll be ready because your first day on the equipment comes long before your first day on the job. Get ready to take on tomorrow, today.
At the fence, leaping! Wow! To the 5, pylon, he's
What is your dream? Your calling? What's the path to get there? It might be clear, or you might still be figuring it out. But at Liberty University, we want to empower you through every chapter of your story. Here, you can discover not just how to do things, but why to do them. And you'll have opportunities to practice and excel across different fields. And that doesn't just end at the classroom door. Your strengths and interests can also fuel your calling, and they embody more than just the classes you choose. So at Liberty, you can train, perfect, find a team to call your own at every skill level. There's more to your story than just the destination. It's reinventing, discovering, finding you are not alone as you chase your dreams. And those dreams don't have to wait until someday. At Liberty, we unite through Christ to pursue things larger than ourselves, to make a difference in both our communities and world, because in Him, we are able. So, what is your calling? Liberty University can fuel that calling, and your outcome will change the world.
Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the show. You know, who doesn't love a surprise, especially when it involves jewelry?
Yeah, I think our wives would probably agree with that. But you may remember Liberty Women's Soccer. They won the ASUN tournament in the COVID-affected spring season of this year. And with it comes a championship ring, a gift the girls received last week in a surprising way.
Let's make sure we finish this semester as the best way we possibly can, all right? We do have one more surprise for you. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to reach underneath your seat. There might be something there for you.
When I reached under the seat, I was like, oh my gosh, I am so excited because we've been waiting for this for like a year, so it's been so exciting.
Despite all the mess that was going on with COVID and how it would have been easy to become complacent and, you know, not try as hard, I think it shows like the real character of this team, and that doesn't matter, you know, what's going on in the world, like we're still gonna get it done.
I'm not one of the Liberty students that look forward to ring by spring because I got mine early.
Really happy for them. They're excited to finally get a little jewelry, pre-Christmas jewelry. Not a bad deal there. All right, hey, we want to remind you, first of all, go to libertyflamecentral.com. You can see all the stories you may have missed. Also, you want to tune in next week, our world-famous Christmas episode.
That's right. I bring out the sweater, we wrap the lights, we have just a great time.
So festive.
Drink a little eggnog. That's, Matt and I love that.
That's our favorite part. Yeah, so definitely tune in for that. We look forward to seeing you next week. For Rhett, I'm Matt. See you later.